let's be honest, we are like so horrible with that one most of the time. Again, when I change that in my own habits and patterns, still today it's a bit hard, but I'm going to share tips on that on how to do. But when you change this pattern in you that we probably all have, especially on the path of living on energy, because we apply this to ourselves, right? Let's be honest. Bad. Don't do that. Red alarm. Number 2, type of relationship you want to create to live on energy more, meaning to have a more happy, fulfilling life. Now, this is going to sound very spiritual and like spooky for some people and like not really clear, but I'm going to explain, as I always do, to make it a lot more tangible and concrete. Number 2 is the way you create your relationship. You create it in a way that is loving and unconditional. Let me explain that, because some people are going to say, wait, Mariam, you just said about conditions, expectations, all that stuff, contract. Now we're talking about being unconditional. Ooh, what is that? Being unconditional within the frame of the agreement. This is all about the subtlety of this point. Let me explain that. In other words, being loving unconditionally means, in this case scenario, it actually means you focus on the qualities. And dog, can you please be quiet a little bit, or just sit next to me, but be quiet, okay? Basically, loving unconditionally the other person in a relationship. What does it mean? It means you focus on the qualities of the person. That dog is being annoyed by a fly or something, or a flea. I hope no. Don't give them to me. Loving unconditionally basically means one thing: you focus on the quality of the other person. And not only do you focus on the qualities, you actually extend and support the growth of those qualities. You kind of almost grow them bigger, envision them bigger, visualize and feel them bigger in yourself, and you actually become a lover of those qualities. Now, that doesn't mean you forget about everything else. You focus on the qualities, but you know the tendencies. Very, very big difference. You don't just go blindly following someone, being with someone, working with someone, not knowing their tendencies and getting trapped into all kind of shit and rubbish. No, you don't want that. Instead, you act loving and wise. So when I say being aware of the tendencies, I think tendencies is a better word for weaknesses. We all have tendencies, like we all have weaknesses, but weaknesses doesn't sound good, whereas tendencies sounds like something uplifting. And it's true, a tendency used in a proper way is uplifting. I'm going to share a few examples. 3 points in my list, just like in the first part of being friend with someone. Being someone who loves unconditionally, meaning you focus on the qualities, but you know the tendencies, means number 1, you remember your why. Why this relationship? As I said, come back to the agreement, whether verbal or written. Come back to the agreement. Every time you can, come back to the agreement. Come back to the why, because that's the reason and the focus you're going to have within that relationship all the time. Again, friends, lovers, work, family, children, animals even. Oh, animals are a bit different. That dog is looking at me right now like, what is she talking about? When you remember the why, you remember which quality in the other person are matching the agreement and the why you are together. Example, you have a friend that is maybe a little overweight, but is great at tarot reading. And you love tarot reading and you want to learn more from that, and you want to improve yourself in tarot reading. You focus on the quality of the other person, tarot reading expert, and you don't focus on the other things. You don't focus on the other person being overweight. Although you're aware of the tendency, you're aware of that this is existing, but you don't focus on it, right? Meaning that if this person invites you over for food, for a meal, to do tarot reading together, you're aware that, okay, meal, right, fair enough. You may like question what you're going to eat, but if you don't like the food because maybe the food is fattening, unhealthy for you, not matching your diet, don't make a fuss around it. Forget about it. Remember your why in this situation. I may not like the food, but I like the tarot reading so much. Oh, so empowering. I'm so glad I had a friend that does tarot reading with me. Oh God, thank you for that. That's it. You get my point? Okay, remember your why. Know the tendencies, don't focus on them. Forget about them in the current situation. Just focus on that one thing. Really, that's the key. If you have one focus in anything you do, you're going to have tremendous energy. You are going to be able to live on energy, as I like to say it. The number 2 point of this whole loving unconditionally thing is so important as well. And I hear that again so much in the spiritual area community. Like people who are, you know, who want to help and be healers, teachers, all that stuff. I'm not saying anything, I'm not criticizing here, but that's something I also was like that. I was so wanting to find someone who was like-minded. But no, you don't want to do that. Because if you look for someone who is like-minded, they will have the same issues you have, they will have the same weaknesses you have, they won't challenge you to change, they won't be like, they won't answer your needs basically. They will answer your wants, but they won't answer your needs. And really in life, we should trust life in answering our needs and knowing that the way life answers our needs is actually answering our wants, deeply inside and conscious wants, potentially. But it's a lot better than choosing ourselves what is better for us. Really, we don't know. There's so many things we don't know. It's like the top of an iceberg. You see the top, you think the top is what you need, what is best for you, when what is best for you is all underneath, hidden. Don't know about it. So instead of looking for someone like you, like-minded, don't look for a duplication of yourself. No. Don't look for a copy of yourself. So dangerous to do that. And I used to do that myself. I used to only talk to people who were vegans when I was a vegan activist. Or I used to only talk to people who were into meditation when I was meditating within a group. Or I used to only hang out with people who are spiritual, so-called, when I was labeling myself as spiritual. I still do, but it doesn't really matter so much now. I was doing those things. And one day, you know that because I shared recently in my videos, at the end of last year, I decided to change that completely, to erase all those patterns of my life and to erase the way I was creating my relationships. And I decided to talk to people I would never talk to before. That was so life-changing. It was so life-changing. I was talking to people who were into bank. I was talking to people who would never exercise. I was talking to people who maybe were wine lovers. I was talking to people who were into poker, playing poker, the card game. I was talking to people who were into cars and motorbikes and things I was not interested in before. And that was eye-opening. Eye-opening on the way their mindset work. Eye-opening on the way they manage their life and time management, organization, discipline, self-care. So many things I learned from those people who were completely in the appearance different from me, but deep inside we're also similar. We're all similar. We're all human beings. Okay, so basically again, don't look for a copy of yourself. Instead, do this thing. And that's very important. That's what most people forget. Most people think with their head when it comes to relationship. Put your head and your mind away. Don't look at the tendencies and things of people. Even if they smoke, drink, don't exercise, eat unhealthy, don't look at that. Just stay next to the person and just focus on your feeling experience. How do you feel? How does your body feel next to this person? With this person? That is the only thing you should look at, because you should trust that life is answering your needs, which are your unconscious or possibly unconscious ones, through this feeling experience. And you should just trust and have total faith in life for knowing better than you. Because the only thing that you should focus on, again, is your feeling experience. And the whole living on energy process is about that, a feeling experience. If you don't feel great exercising, something's wrong. If you don't feel great fasting, something's wrong. If you don't feel great meditating, again, something isn't right. Right in the term that something isn't working for you right now, because either you're going too fast, pushing yourself, thinking mentally about it, not caring for your body, not being loving with your body enough, and that's why it's messing up. And that's why something healthy, supposedly originally, isn't healthy for you anymore, because you are wanting to have the control over it, and therefore you are messing up, closing down all the benefits of the practice. It's exactly the same with relationships. Forget about wanting a copy of yourself. So just feel how you feel next to the person, with the person you are with, whether it's your friend, family member, partner in life, work, a colleague. Just feel. If you don't feel great, say goodbye. It's not really working for you, or it's not really worth it. But if you feel great, despite this and this and that and all the tendencies your mind is telling you, shut down your mind. Say thank you, I know, leave me alone. I love you though. And be grateful for the friend you have, and say to life, I'm opening up to that relationship. I trust you, life. You trust life because you trust yourself and you trust your body. And you know that everything is always perfect. And I think that changed a lot in me too. I had so many times, I had my mind telling me this is bad, this is wrong, don't stay with that person. But when I was actually with that person, I realized I was feeling so great. I was so happy. And if you are happy, you're going to be energized. If you are energized, you're going to live on energy more. You're going to forget about food, forget about time, forget about things that are unnecessary at this very moment, but are necessary for you to live on energy more. And that is going to be so nourishing. So nourishing. When people say relationships are draining, they just don't know how to handle them. That's why I say I used to be like that too. Your relationships used to be so bad for me, but now I know like a lot better. I'm not saying I'm a total expert, but I know a lot better. Therefore, I can handle them a lot better. Like it feels a lot greater and more nourishing as well. And your life become a lot happier and fulfilling. I do have to say that again and again and again. Okay. Number 3 point in my part of loving unconditionally. What does this mean? Oh yeah, another one. You don't share everything in a relationship. So basically you share already what is part of the contract, but again, it's about having one focus. The main type of energy you put out there, and the only one, is going to be life-saving for your relationship. If you don't share that and you share other things, risky, dangerous, unnecessary. And I used to share that, and so many people say you should communicate, and that's like, I mean, I'm nothing is wrong, but it's leading people to behave in a way that is dangerous, unhealthy, draining energetically, and prevent them from living the best out of their relationship and living the best out of their life as well, and prevent them from living on energy too, right? In a relationship, there's one thing you should focus on sharing, nothing else. Everything else is what you should question yourself when it comes up. Let's say there's a challenge that comes up. You don't agree on something. Fair enough. Then you question it first, alone yourself, okay, with your own life experience, your own past, your own way of dealing with things. You question it, you meditate on it, you understand why you feel a certain way, having this certain experience within your relationship. You question it. Again, friends, work colleagues, lovers, whoever, same thing. Your children. You question it first within yourself. You don't share with anyone else yet. If you need help, get a therapist. They're paid for that. That's their work. But if you're going to share your shit, karma, burden, worries, questioning, unsolved traumas with the other person, whether it's a friend, lover, work colleague, whoever, what are you doing really? You're just giving away, expressing away stuff, using the other person as if the other person was a bin. You don't do that in a relationship. That is rude. You don't. That is draining, killing. Bleh. I want to vomit right now. Don't do that. And I used to do that so much because I thought a relationship had to be this way. A relationship had to be something you just share your garbage for free. Great. No, don't do that. If you want to share your garbage, pay someone. Pay a therapist again. life-changing. In other words, one thing you share with the other person is happiness. If you just share happiness, you just focus on that one thing. Again, the key in living on energy is to have one focus at a time. Focus on sharing happiness with the other person in your relationship, and you are going to thrive, both of you, okay? Instead of sharing about your worries or your struggle. I'm not saying we all have worries and things we question, but question yourself first. Question yourself through the reflection of that relationship, okay? Through the mirror you're getting of yourself through that relationship. Question yourself. Grow yourself first. Mature yourself. Grow in wisdom and understanding of yourself first. And once this is done, in 99% cases, I promise, you actually don't want to say anything to the other person. You're like, wait, no, fine, I'm good. And oftentimes I found myself like that. It was so funny and silly. I had all those things in my mind. I'm going to tell him this when he comes back from work. I'm going to tell him this and this and that. He didn't clean the bathroom. He didn't tell me I love you. He didn't take me there. He didn't make me food. He didn't make the bed. He didn't give me a cuddle. He didn't kiss me. All those things. I was so annoyed at the moment. And then I went back in meditation, focused on those and realized, wait, isn't that silly? Because really, what is it that you like though? What is it that you did share and you did have a good time with? Maybe he was snoring and that woke me up just before the alarm clock went on, and it was a great way to wake up. Or maybe that work colleague was complaining. Okay, fine, but through her complaints I remembered that experience I had in the past, and it was clicking with something else I needed to know right now, and that was helping. Or maybe through this child being like crying and sick, it allowed me to cancel an appointment I didn't really want to go to. Like basically find the positive in the negative. Focus on you first. Meditate on the issue or the unpleasant experience before you actually shout out, I'm annoyed, like an angry lion. You don't need to do that, I promise. And oftentimes, yeah, when my partner was coming back from work, for instance, and I was going to say all of this shit, throw away all my garbage to him, then I realized, wait, I actually laughed at myself. I didn't want to share any more of this because I was feeling happy that he was coming back from work, and the only thing I wanted was to connect and share happiness. And then I laughed at myself. I was like, Mariam, sometimes those things in your head sound so silly. You create so many dramas based on nothing but your own creative thought process. And I think it's true for everyone. So remember that. Only share happiness. For everything else, meditate. If you need support, go for a therapist. If you need to talk about something and update the agreement, part 1, remember, share about it. How about we update this and that? We change the rule of our relationship. But that's it. Really, in a relationship, most of the time, you just need silence and fun. But nothing else has to be shared, really. All the issues and traumas and troubles and problems, none of this need to be shared if you take responsibility for your own self. So again, sharing happiness and anything else that is in the agreement, obviously, but nothing else. Avoid your garbage, or avoid messy situations, and you realize the other person will actually behave the same way, because the way you behave actually impacts the way the other person behaves. Your attitude impacts the other person's attitude, and you will be a lot more respected if you respect the other person's life, basically, because sharing your worries and garbage isn't helping anyone and isn't going to give you energy, although expressing away does. But find other ways to express away that are healing. For me, making videos is a way to express myself. I don't want to like throw my entire life or my entire traumas to other people. I don't want to share my entire thought process ramble with other people when I make videos. Doesn't mean you have to watch them, but it's just a process that is fulfilling and making me happy. Number 3 type of relationship you want to create to live on energy more. So again, the type of relationship you create is basically